is America's Supermom, and it would help if I had myself on screen. I'm just over here doing so many things in the background. I'm so excited for you to join me today for this episode of Success Link with America's Supermom. So I am scheduled to have a guest, and he has not arrived, but if any of you all know me, the show must go on. So I am going to share a brief clip and then we will get into today's topic, which is all about networking. So stay tuned. I'll be right back. Well, thank you again for joining me. I'm excited to be here today. I am Lachelle Atkins, also known as America's Supermom. My husband and I have 15 children, 10 of which still live at home. And I am excited to have this platform because it helps me introduce you to great people and give you some insight for some strategies and tips, which are what I'm all about, so that you can have all that you desire without the expense of your health. So, a little bit about me was struggled with depression for 13 years. I was hospitalized 3 times. And now I'm passionate to coach women, to share my story on podcasts, speaking events. I'm an author and a number of things to get in front of wherever I can, any audience, to talk about the importance of mental wellness. So I am excited to be here with you today. And my guest who was scheduled to be here is Marc Jarrett. And he and I got connected through a LinkedIn live video. So he was on with a mutual connection, and it was a great conversation to where I was watching them on LinkedIn, but I was also in the room with them on Clubhouse. So it was a simultask, both places at the same time. And I was able to connect with him. We met on a Zoom call, and he is just such a massive networker. He got Networker of the Year and just a number of things. I mean, it's just amazing. So he has not arrived, and we actually have not talked since that Zoom. I mean, life happens, you guys. I don't know about you, but my kids are now into their third week of school. And I just got over one of my children having COVID and trying to juggle so many things in the background that I understand that life happens. However, one of the things about me is if I schedule the time, I fill it up anyway, because I had already set this time aside. So I'm excited to be here today. And I thought, what better topic than relationship marketing? So I have a few slides that I will go over, but I just want to shout Marc Jarrett out and thank him for being the wonderful light that he is in the world, because he does do a lot to connect people. And to me, I think that's what networking is all about. I had the privilege of interviewing Dr. Ivan Meisner, who is now coined as the father of modern networking. He's the founder of BNI, which is a global organization. So if you're not familiar with Dr. Ivan Meisner, I would challenge you to look him up and look up BNI. and see how this organization might be able to help you with your business and getting referrals and getting to know people, sharpening your presentation skills, just a number of things. So that is a great way to do it. And I am so excited that Mark has been able to join us. So, without further ado, I am going to bring him on. Hey, Mark.
Hi, warm greetings from the United Kingdom to the United States of America.
Awesome. I am so glad to see you literally because I was like, what am I going to talk about? Even though I'm not at a loss for words, okay? So, I was telling everybody your networker of the year. I mean, a number of things that they could find out when looking you up. So, before we get into all things networking, I would love for you to introduce yourself to everybody.
Sure. So, hi everyone. My name's Marc Jarrett. I'm based in a town called Horsham, which is between London and Brighton in the south of England. I'm a professional networker. At the end of the day, business boils down to two things, and that's people and trust.
Mm,
So, what I've done is created and curated an ecosystem of 250 WhatsApp groups covering a
mm,
wide range of subjects and themes. And in
mm,
it, you will find the creme de la creme of LinkedIn, thought
mm,
leaders and entrepreneurs from all over the world. So, what I've done is created an environment where they feel safe to engage with one another, and then the business comes later. So I'm all about relationship building. That's why I'm a little bit anti multi-level marketing. MLM tends to be transactional right from the get-go. Click here and
mhm,
pay.
mhm,
I'm more about let's get to know each other and then
mhm.
do business.
I love that. And, I know what a lot of people are probably saying 250 WhatsApp groups. How do you manage that? Because, and I know you got the answer because this is something that you've been doing, but help people to understand why it's good to spend their time with 250 in WhatsApp groups rather than some of the other things that we do on social media or things like that.
Well, first of all, because I think most of your audience are American, aren't they?
Mhm.
I need to educate them as to what WhatsApp is.
That's true. Now that could be true.
So there are 2 billion reasons why you should use WhatsApp to network virtually, because that's how many people use it. It's a
Mm,
quarter of the world.
mhm.
It's the world's most popular communications platform.
Love
Here
that.
in Europe, everyone uses it. But in the United States of America, its birthplace, only
Mm,
1 in 5 Americans use WhatsApp. So I'm on a mission to make that 1 in 4. It's free, it's ad free, and it's like SMS on steroids because you can send files up to 2 gigabyte files,
wow.
photographs, videos, exchange all kinds of documents and information. And to me, the free call, those Americans that do use WhatsApp are
Mhm,
typically only using it when they or their friends and family are traveling overseas
mhm,
for the free calls and the free video calls.
mhm,
To me, that's a bonus. The actual
mhm,
networking takes place in WhatsApp groups, and
mm,
that's primarily text driven. So
mm,
that's why I always encourage people to start using WhatsApp on their computer. All you have to do is go to web.whatsapp.com and then marry your smartphone to your computer. And do you remember who Freddie Mercury was?
mm-mm.
Okay, he was the lead singer of a rock band called Queen.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of Queen. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And sadly, he's no longer with us. But he once said, the bigger the better in everything. So when it comes to screens and keyboard sizes, he was bang on the money. But
Mm,
I don't think he was talking about screens and keyboard sizes. Let's not go
mhm,
there. But
mhm.
anyway, yeah, that's the best way to network on in WhatsApp groups.
I love
It is on the um, on your computer,
okay.
because we all stare into these cell phones or smartphones
Yeah.
too much anyway.
Mhm,
Paradoxically, they're killing off the communications that matter the most, and that's human ones.
mhm,
If you go to
mhm,
a restaurant or a bus or a train here in the UK, everyone's just permanently glued onto their smartphones.
mhm,
But they are fantastic communication devices.
mhm.
They're computers, aren't they?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
true. I
yeah,
totally agree with that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, still tell us, how do you keep it organized? Because I think a lot of us, between trying to have meetings, Zoom calls, everyday life with our families, how do you what's the day look like?
Well,
You
it's not
manage to
your problem because you're not going to be in 250 groups.
Mhm,
If you're uh, if you're a healthcare worker and you specialize in mental health, I'm
mhm,
going to put you in the mental health group.
mhm,
So that's only one group.
mm.
And you're then going to mute and ignore that group. I think, Lachelle, you're in the powerful women group, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm not active on WhatsApp, so I think
Ah,
you might have put me in there, and I'm like, that's another thing. Okay, I'm just saying, but I'm very intrigued
it's
by
okay.
what.
I totally get it. You're what's known as a lurker. And a lurker is internet slang for someone who's a member of an internet community but doesn't take part.
Right.
Now, there are two types of lurker. There's
Okay.
someone like yourself who's just super busy and
Mhm.
frankly just doesn't have the time.
Mhm.
But then there's another type of lurker who actually watches what's going on but
Mm.
doesn't take part.
Mm. Yeah, I love that because I think,
I hate it.
well, I'm saying I've fallen into both of those groups sometimes, so I
Okay.
totally get it. But I think,
Yeah.
for people who, let's just say I'm the lurker that's looking and not getting engaged. What is something that you would recommend me to get started with to kind of ease into being more engaging in groups, whether it's WhatsApp or just networking in general?
It's not about you, it's about them.
Mm,
If you take an interest in other people, they will reciprocate and take an interest in you.
mm-hmm,
So when you join a WhatsApp group, I will ask you to say who you are, where you live, what you do,
mm-hmm,
who you would like to meet, a fun fact to show your human side, and
mm-hmm,
then your LinkedIn URL. Now, LinkedIn plays a key role in what I do
mm-hmm.
because it's a very valuable information platform,
Mhm.
but it's not a particularly good communications platform. Whereas
Mm.
WhatsApp is the exact opposite. WhatsApp is a very powerful communications platform, but it's a rubbish information platform. You can't see where they went to
Mm.
school or where they've worked or whatever.
Mhm.
So the combined firepower of LinkedIn and WhatsApp is
Mm.
very powerful.
You now that is a mouthful for many people that are listening because we can sometimes get lost in the like you said, WhatsApp is on steroids. So just that constant notification, always finding something on that platform, but it's not giving us the full picture. So
Yes,
sometimes we can get so caught up in those
but
metrics.
when
Yeah.
when people join my WhatsApp groups, I always tell them if you wake up in the morning, like the powerful women group gets
Mhm.
really busy. So you
Mhm.
might wake up in the morning and see 158 missed messages.
Mhm.
Don't panic. Don't try and backpedal. If
Mm.
something vaguely relevant comes up, like in your case,
Mhm.
a mother who's got lots of children, I would then take a screenshot and send that to you privately, and then
Mm.
you can dive in at the relevant point. You've got better things to do than spend all day in WhatsApp groups. That's my job. I live on WhatsApp.
I love that. So
Yeah.
talk to us about how we can move from being transactional to being more service oriented. So even, just serving people, like you said, it's not about us, it's about them. So how do we shift that? What are some things we could be doing?
Well, networking is like opening a bank account. You
Mhm.
cannot make a withdrawal until you make a deposit. So
Mhm.
it's about serving others.
Mhm.
So if you just focus on that,
Mhm.
and then the universe will listen, and it's the boomerang principle. Principle.
Mhm.
People, it will come back to serve you.
I love that. But, I
Mm.
think a lot of people kind of get in their own way about that. They're
Mm.
like, oh my gosh, we try to micromanage everything. So, like, if
Mm.
I send you a connection, I'm like, well, have they connected? What did Mark think? Did the other person respond? I mean, how do you keep your calm with that? Because some people, they feel like it is just, they're giving away their baby when they give their connections to other
Mm.
people.
Well, it's a process. It takes time. We're talking about human beings here,
Mm-hmm.
and to get to know them, we're all so different. That's the remarkable thing about human beings. We're all so wonderfully different.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes time. It's a long game. But if you look at my LinkedIn testimonials, one of them is from a guy called Ernest, who's
Mm-hmm.
all about femtech. In other words, technology aimed at women.
Mm-hmm.
So when I first met him a couple of years ago, I showed him how to use WhatsApp. He didn't he never used it.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't take very long, but I just started introducing him to people immediately,
Mhm.
to people that could help meet his business goals, and it
Mm,
blew him away because I've got
mhm,
access to an enormous network of amazing people. So um, it's a warm introduction. You're already
mhm,
halfway there with a warm introduction.
mhm. I love that. Now, so for most people who feel like, some people are so scared about sharing their connections. They're like, "Oh my gosh, what if I introduce them to this person and they end up being a flake or whatever?" So, how do you manage that? What is it like when you meet somebody for the first time? Do you have like a system on who you introduce them to first and then they
So,
go uh up the chain or something? How does that work?
so most of my people come through referrals,
Mhm.
and that's it. I don't, if I trust the person that's introduced me to another person, then I don't
Mhm.
have to do any due diligence on that individual.
Mm, mhm.
LinkedIn again is very useful. If I'm meeting a lot of people through LinkedIn. If
Mhm.
they haven't got, if no one's recommended them, that's a red flag for
Mm,
me.
mhm.
Um, so I use LinkedIn as a kind of filter to see who that individual is, and it gives me a pretty good idea,
Mhm.
because I only need one bad actor to
Mm,
ruin it for everyone, not least myself, because I've developed
mhm.
this reputation for being a super connector. I want to
Mhm.
keep that reputation. And do you know Warren Buffett?
Yes.
He once
I
said
don't
it.
know him personally yet. We haven't
No,
met yet.
no. If you do, let me know. Um, he came up with a couple of great quotes. One of them is, "It takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to destroy it."
Yeah.
And he also was asked once, "What's the best thing about having untold wealth?" And he said, "The ability to turn left and not right when entering into a commercial aircraft," which I quite like.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mhm. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you flown first class yourself?
No, I haven't had that experience yet.
You
What about
should.
yourself?
You should.
Yeah, I've
Yes.
I've heard
Yeah.
once you do it, it's like forget going back.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You just make it, it's just gotta be a thing,
Yeah.
once you do it once, and I can only imagine, you know,
Yeah.
it doesn't take much for me to, wanna always move up, and I think that's important to remember, when you're thinking about your business, you want to be in it for the long term. You want to see it grow, you want to evolve. And so that's one of the things that's so important with networking and making sure that your brand is in alignment with your core values and everything. So I totally get that.
That is so important.
Mhm.
Values.
Mhm.
And I'm finding that young people, like influencers on Instagram and TikTok and whatnot, it's
Mhm.
all about them. They don't seem to be
Mhm.
very values driven.
Mm-mm.
But I wasn't. To be honest, when I was in my 20s, I was
Mhm.
a hedonistical, greedy banker.
Mhm.
It was
Mhm.
all about money and me, and material
Mhm.
things. But as you get older, you grow up, don't you?
Mhm. So true.
Yeah,
And I think the biggest
mm,
lesson I learned was that I couldn't do it alone. I had
exactly.
this career that was driven on success, but it was all about what I was doing,
Yeah,
that academic thing. And so it really did a lot to brainwash me uh,
yeah.
and have me struggling later on in life
Mm.
because it's not all about me and what I've got going on. So I totally get that.
Did you ever connect with the UK's Mother of the Year that I introduced
Yes,
you
and
to?
we actually she's been busy, I've been busy, we've been communicating, and we're scheduled to meet,
I'm not surprised you've got about 20 kids between you, haven't you?
I know, isn't it crazy? But yeah, so we're gonna meet. We've been talking to each other ever since you connected us. And she has been sharing things with me. I've been sharing things with her. But her
Great.
kids, when they get in school, we're gonna meet up. So I'm excited about that. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Hmm.
A guy recently hired me who's
Oh,
got 11 children. He,
wow.
he, he left school at 8 years old.
No.
He owned his first house by the time he was 18. He has operated and owned and sold 27 companies. Each one
Wow.
of them has been profitable. And he now owns a massive estate in Ireland.
That
Uh,
is amazing.
he hasn't got the time to network. With 11 kids, I'm surprised he's got the time for anything. But anyway, he's hired me to network for him. So if you would like to meet him, I'm his kind of
Absolutely.
sidekick. Yeah, don't forget.
Look, I don't turn down nothing but my collar, okay? That's the
Okay,
only thing I turn down. So anytime I can meet great people, I am all for that. So
fantastic.
explain to everybody what you just said. That was amazing. How you network for him, because I'm not sure if everybody caught that. So
Okay, so
explain to us what that's about.
about 1 in 5 people hate
Mhm.
networking. It's just not
Mhm.
their gig. It's like public speaking. They find it intimidating. They just don't. They're more than happy to have a one-to-one.
Mhm.
It's just they don't enjoy the process of getting there through networking.
Mhm.
But most people quite like networking, but they just don't have the time. It's quite time consuming.
Mhm.
So I offer a networking concierge service. So if people hire me and
Mhm.
retain me, I network for them. Like
Mm.
if you were to hire me, I would just tenaciously seek out the people to help meet your business goals and bring them to you one by one.
Mhm.
I set up the meeting. I do everything.
I
I
love
I open, you close.
I love that. I love that.
Hire
And
me then.
because it's really like a personal assistant on steroids, because you
Exactly.
have your
Yeah.
personal assistant who helps you with administrative things, but networking, I love how you're saying a concierge, because that is the backbone of your business. You
Exactly.
can't stay in business if you don't continue to generate leads and connect with the right people. So I love that. So what was it that led you to that? And I don't think a lot of people even understand that that's something that they could monetize.
So to answer your first point, what led me to it?
Mhm.
It was my parents. Both of my parents were the kind of individuals who would speak to strangers They
Mhm.
didn't give a damn, rich or poor, young or old, black or white. They didn't give a damn. They just loved human beings.
Mhm.
So I've inherited that trait from them. In terms of the monetization aspect, people pay me to network for them.
Mhm.
Um, and also, the real money lies in transactions that come
Mhm.
about as a result of the existence of the network. So, for example, all startups are looking for what?
Mhm.
What are they looking for?
For looking for clients or
They look
people
no,
that.
they're looking for money.
Right. Okay.
They're looking for investment.
Mhm.
Okay, so any startup will pay you or me or anyone a finder's fee for finding an investor.
Mhm.
So if you find if a startup that's looking for say to raise say $1 million,
Mhm.
that's $50,000.
That's good stuff. Yeah.
I think, isn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
That's awesome. So you are actually, just being able to be away from their day to day allows you to have more clarity and focus on being able to do what's necessary for them.
Yeah. I mean, thing is, getting the attention of venture capitalists
Mhm.
is quite difficult. But I know a lot of venture capitalists, so I can share the deck. A deck is used to
Mhm.
raise money with
Mhm.
these people and get their attention. By the way,
Mhm.
one of my WhatsApp groups is called Women in VC. Do you
Mm.
know why? Because only 3% of venture capitalists are women.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. It
That's
makes me
awesome.
makes me quite angry actually, because when you think about it, women are good with money.
Yeah.
So anyway, that group is all about getting more women involved in
Mhm.
venture capital.
Mhm.
Another one is called Women Engineers Unite. So they're
Mm.
quarantining all the women I know who are actually involved in engineering.
Mhm. That's good. I have a lot of women that I could send your way regarding some of these specialized groups because I have a couple that are even in the trucking industry. They have their own trucking companies.
Beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
So this is
And I
amazing.
can introduce them to Rap Girl, who's already retired, but
Oh,
she
really?
does those big wrappings that go around trucks.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so I connect dots.
Mhm. I love
Yeah,
that. I
yeah.
love that. Now, so how is it that you are able to get in these conversations? Like to even begin to have people that you can serve. Because I think a lot of people, like you said, they shy away from networking.
Mm,
They're on these social media platforms behind the
mm,
scenes. So if
mm,
you have someone who's watching us on LinkedIn now,
mm.
what would you recommend them do as the first step to get into networking?
Well, with networking broadly, there
Mhm.
are a plethora of networking events happening each and every day all over the world.
Mhm.
Google's your friend.
Mhm.
As opposed to my groups, which is searching for my WhatsApp groups on Google, is an exercise in futility because
Mhm.
WhatsApp groups belong to something called dark social. I don't like the term, but it's actually
Mhm.
a really good thing. It means they're private.
Mm.
So my WhatsApp groups are invite only, and that
Mhm.
makes them exclusive.
Love that.
So do I.
Yeah. I mean, that is awesome because I think a lot of people, this is the thing, they don't recognize the value that they have with their network.
Yeah.
And I'm loving this conversation because so often, that's the bread and butter. Just like you said earlier, you get referrals
Yeah.
and it comes from curating this group of people that you meet in different places. And that is something that people don't realize is valuable. They don't know how to leverage connections or, a lot of these things. So I love everything you're sharing.
Great.
Mhm. So tell everybody, I can't believe it's time is up for us. What's the best way for them to get a hold of you in order for them to begin the process of reaching out and, trying to make connections with you and some of the people
Okay,
that
so there are two ways.
Okay.
Um, you either go to my website, which is MJ Consultancy, but that's
Mhm.
phonetic. It's EMJAY Consultancy, all one word.com.
Okay.
And on there, there's a WhatsApp button. And just click on that button and then ping me a message on WhatsApp.
Okay.
The other way, of course, is LinkedIn. Just search for me on LinkedIn, reach out to me, and then we're connected.
I love that. And what final thoughts would you like to leave with everybody today?
Networking remains an inherent part of the human condition. We are all hardwired to network and grow our tribes. And it's important for all of us, for all of our lives, especially young people, because
Mhm.
most jobs, when you're embarking on your career journey in life, most jobs are found through the grapevine, through word of mouth,
Mhm.
through recommendations. You know, if you go to Indeed or LinkedIn jobs or whatever, you're competing with hundreds, if not thousands, of other candidates.
Mhm.
But if you're recommended through networking, boom, you're
So
in.
so true. So
Yeah,
true. I
yeah.
love that. That is so true.
Okay.
Well, Mark, I am so glad that I was able to get a little bit of your time today. This has been amazing.
Thank you for
And
having me, Lachelle. Thank you
you
so
are so
much.
welcome, and the insight that you shared is just priceless. So I'm so excited. And so for any of you that are watching, I encourage you to reach out to Mark. He is very, very personable, very organized. He gets right back with you, and he definitely can help you with a lot of your networking needs and just things in general, getting you in front of the right people to help your business to grow and continue to excel in the market. So, thanks again, Mark, for coming
Thank you
on
so
today.
much for having me. Have a
You
great
are
weekend.
all right. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next episode.